Hello and welcome to another video where we talk about card games. We're talking about Kiwi birds here today, which is really cool because I sort of had this idea thinking about it. We've got Bologna coming up and we've got the DLC starting, and of course, I'm very focused on that. I'm focused on the main event, and I'll have a video about the main event on Friday. So I'm talking about my approach to it and all of my thoughts going into such a big event that's coming up again. But of course, we have side events, and I sort of noticed when I went to Cardiff, I didn't bring a Infinity deck, just because I purely thought if not, I'll just keep playing side events core constructed. But Infinity actually did look kind of fun, and what I liked about it as well, I talked to a few of the players, and the one of our locals who gave us a lift up was like, it is also, as much as you can probably meta dive into it, there is, of course, red blue looks very strong in it. The amber still aggro decks look very strong in it. I think it is also the environment for just that like pet deck heaven, really, in my opinion. So it depends what you want to get out of it. I think for some of the side events, you can just, if you're just out of day one, you're like, I just want to have fun, then you could just bring up your favorite deck, if no matter if that be Ruby Steel, even Ruby Sapphire, Sisu, if that be like Green Steel, that'd be Ruby Amethyst. I think all of them, like, you can pick them up and play, and of course you can go really deep in on it and pick the top choice, but it also should be an environment where anyone could just have fun. So I thought this is a really cool actual chance to just forever have an option to play Kiwi Birds, or sort of my favorite deck, going into the future. And of course as well, getting the Hiram back in, we can just do so much with this list. And of course with Fortisphere as well, we get to use that card. So for me personally, I just thought I'm going to build one and get one ready in case I end up having to, in case I end up playing the side events in Bologna. And this is what I came up with. This is the Kiwi Birds Forever Kiwi Birds Sapphire Steel list. And it may look a little bit different to others. Of course, it is a weird time where the deck was, I don't know if it was less played or more played, or however you want to look at it, but it's taking into account the pre-ban set 7 era as well, where we were using Hiram, we were using Let the Storm Rage On, we were using this Bell quite effectively. That kind of went away after the ban, and then we had a long time where it was just playing the standard curve out 1 2 3 4 5 lines. But we get to go back to this, which was very, very effective, and I know a lot of people really enjoyed this version of it. You still can, I think, very easily remove Bell, remove the maybe some of the items, and maybe Hiram, and just put Robin Hood back in, maximize the docks, and just play it the way it used to be. But this version seems very powerful, and we get access to Nala, which, if you asked me or Justin when we were playing Kiwi Birds, the thing we used to complain about the most was that we didn't have any aggressive steel questers or Sapphire. Well, we have the Alice, which is kind of an aggressive quester, but we never really had any more aggressive questers that we could use. But Nala kind of changes that for us now. We have our own Piglet. Losing against Ruby Sapphire by a minimum of, a couple lore or something like that, or losing against Ruby Amethyst by a bit of lore, Nala really changes that, because you turn it sideways, you get your lore. Their removals are Sisu or Brawl, which they might have, but you can also do things like play it later on in the game, Alice ward it up if they don't have B prep or Sisu. And it's just generally going 1-2, if you're on the play, play Bell into Nala, into Alice, Pluto, Cogsworth. It's just a really, really strong spot to be in for anyone. I don't know how other people overcome it. It would just be really, really powerful. So altogether, the list hasn't changed too much. There's not really anything else we can take from the new sets. We kind of just revert back to that pre-set 7 ban and get all of that stuff back in there. And then we utilize the Nala, which is a really powerful quester. And I took Calhoun out of the deck because it kind of feels like with Bell, or the song package, with Mr. Smith also being a bit of a fighter as well, we don't really need her too much. She's going to be pretty useful. There is a world where I play this on the weekend and I don't really enjoy the deck, and I swap Nala around. I think I'll always enjoy playing the deck. I always have a very sweet spot for it, but I could take this to the side event and have another video ready with all of my updates to it if I end up playing it. But this seems kind of strong. It was also getting back into that mindset of realizing that if we have the Hiram and the item package, how under sort of I think I've played a lot of set 9 where Doc is up there as like the most fair, best card draw option in the game. Going back to Hiram card draw is a really hard thing to get your mind back into, thinking, wait a minute, Doc isn't going to be the most powerful thing in this deck. No, it was actually Hiram and Popsicle, and you could end up sometimes, if you played for Docs, drawing multiple Docs and not really needing them. I kind of did actually at one point change the Mulans out for Calhoun, but then we were getting quite a high on ink count, and Mulan is also not too bad. Getting Bell down turn 1 is very, very important, but we can always just look for another 1-drop. So there's only 2 copies in there, but I think it kind of all comes together quite well. And yeah, it's just the classic version of the deck. We can be a bit more control if maybe we're on the draw and we're versus a purple steel or a amber steel, and we can opt to do like set up our singers and sing Let the Storm and Strength and just resource them and go wide and get up Cogsworth. But if it's a bit more of a control based deck, you know, one that we can't really go the distance with, we can instead opt to just do the classic 1-drop, 2-drop, Alice, Pluto, Cogsworth, and just keep questing out until we win the game. I'm keeping Gantu in there as well. I think some people might end up not really liking the idea of Gantu, but I always felt he was just this huge bomb, and if you could get Alice to ward it up, it would just survive for so long. So, as I said, this is completely theory crafted, because playing Infinity is actually quite a hard thing to do right now. I think there are some simulators that let you play it, but not everyone's really focused on it, and definitely not this close to a DLC. But that's kind of been my thing that I've really liked hearing about Infinity. No one's I think that probably some people are, and there have been some American events where I know they have been happening, but no one really seems from the realms that I talk in that anyone's going in with this ultra sweaty, oh, I need to win this Infinity, I want to be the best Infinity player attitude. A lot of the attitude is more focused on, I just want to bring the deck that I used to love playing. You know, I want to use my what they called like enchanted Diablos again, or I want to use my enchanted whatevers and my enchanted Kedas. You know, I want to get them out of the box and play those. And for me as well, I want to play the, you know, foil Smees and foil Cogsworths and all those things that I used to have and used to get really good joy out of. So this is my approach to it. And of course, I would assume that if you watch my channel at all, you know that Sapphire Steel is a very popular color combo on the channel. Color combo on the channel, so this might be one that you want to bring as well. I could also see as well, when the DLC for Infinity comes around, it's going to be quite important. It's going to be what everyone's testing for, and I would hope maybe that this deck can kind of hold up in that environment and be quite playable. We'd already seen a Alice, Pluto, Sapphire Steel get second, I think, in one of the big 60-person Infinity events in America, so I don't think it's out of the realm of question. I think as well, there was cards that we never really got to test. Like, I saw that the gentleman was running one-off Vinny. I think that's really cool. I think that could be really cool. And also as well, testing all of these cards like that with Hiram and Porpsicle, because they say at the start of set 7, Hiram and Fortisphere, because at the start of set 7 all of those stuff kind of went, but we keep getting the cards and we still had access to those cards, but we didn't know how they worked with Hiram and the whole item package that we have in here. So I think there's just loads to be tested there, and also Hiram Draw is just always going to be one of the most powerful things, and we could even look at putting Along Came Zeus in here if we needed to, maybe a smaller copy. It's crazy how much control you can actually get with this build, and also having 8 4-drops that can kind of effectively sing Along Came Zeus quite easily, especially Pluto being able to sing it, isn't too bad either. So yeah, this is my approach to what I would really want to play in Infinity. I think on top of this as well, I'd have a few approaches at doing a Sapphire Steel ramp deck, but to be honest with you, all of those decks seem very straightforward on how to build them. You know, it's just Port Bell, Toa, Big Toa, Hades, Simba, whatever it is. It's just all those cards put in there and try and be a massive control ramp deck. I feel those ones are probably going to be very much figured out by the time Infinity becomes quite an important thing in the game. But for Kiwi, I think there's only maybe a small collection of us that really enjoyed the deck and really want to keep pushing it forward. So yeah, this is just how I'd approach it. Hopefully, if I have time before I leave my flight, which I probably will, I'll try and sleeve it up or get it ready, or just get the cards put into a box as well. So yeah, that's just my little fun thing that I thought I'd start off with. And then on Friday, I'll have a video talking about my approach to the Bologna event and like how to sort of approach DLCs, or how to approach bigger events. I didn't have the best run last season with DLCs, but we ended up getting quite good quite good results in like 500 people. Ravensburger run event was actually quite fortunate for me, and a few of the other events as well. So and also it's best of 3 now, so it's kind of really changed for everyone's opinions on since the last events were 2-game format. But if you want to have fun at the Infinity event, or when December comes around and you want to try win the Whole New World promo, and you really liked Kiwi Birds, I think it's probably one of the stronger decks to play. Ward is good, Pete is good, and Bell turn 1 is pretty good as well. That on top, we get Mukduk mana back as well, which is going to be fun to get the foils out of that. But yeah, this is just my approach to Infinity deck.